Welcome back, true believers and all you spectacular Spidey fans, to another very exciting episode of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 101. And in case you forgot, today is the day where the pre-orders for Marvel's Spider-Man 2 officially go live. And if you're someone who's living in the United States like I am, who does want to try and purchase the collector's edition, the only way that you can buy them is by going through the PlayStation Direct website. So definitely see if you can try to pick one up if you haven't already, because from what I've seen, Sony still has a lot of them in stock. So don't give up if you're someone who still hasn't gotten one yet. And as for me, I was able to successfully secure my own collector's edition, which I will most definitely do an unboxing video on by the time I get my hands on it. And if I'm somehow able to acquire a second collector's edition, then I'll definitely be sure to hold a giveaway for all of you amazing viewers. So definitely be sure to stay tuned to my YouTube channel and my Twitter account for any further information. But as an awesome way to celebrate the pre-orders going live for Marvel's Spider-Man 2, both PlayStation and Marvel did update their overall web pages with new massive and awesome information relating to the game. And to kick things off with the official PlayStation website, we do have a brand new synopsis for the Marvel Spider-Man 2 story, as well as very brief but still extremely exciting factoids for the game. Whereas the website highlights what is Marvel's Spider-Man 2, whereas we now know this is the next game in the Marvel Spider-Man franchise, coming to the PlayStation 5 console. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Miles Morales return for an exciting new adventure in the critically acclaimed Marvel Spider-Man franchise for PS5. Swing, jump, and utilize the new web wings to travel across Marvel's New York, quickly switching between Peter Parker and Miles Morales to experience different stories and epic new powers, as the iconic villain Venom threatens to destroy their lives, their city, and the ones they love. And as a diehard Venom fan myself, I couldn't ask for anything better. One of the biggest reasons why Venom is my personal favorite Spider-Man villain of all time is how he is both a physical and psychological threat to Spider-Man both in and out of the costume. So now knowing that Venom within the context of Marvel Spider-Man 2 is going to try and completely dismantle everything within the livelihoods of Peter Parker and Miles Morales, regardless of whoever is actually inside the symbiote, is genuinely shaping up to be a completely remarkable version of this beloved character. And I for one can't wait to see how the story will play out. And speaking of the story, we do have these brand new bullet points going over Marvel Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation website, which goes on to emphasize the importance of this game's story and the brand new gameplay features. Where, to begin, this will be an evolution of the Spider-Man story. The incredible power of the symbiote forces Peter and Miles to face the ultimate test of strength, both inside and outside the mask, as they balance their lives, friendships, and their duty to protect those in need. Experience 2 playable Spider-Men. Quickly swap between both Spider-Men as you explore an expanded Marvel's New York. But more importantly are the bullet points that follow these afterwards, saying battle iconic Marvel supervillains. Fight against a variety of new and iconic villains, including an original take on the monstrous Venom, the ruthless Kraven the Hunter, the volatile Lizard, and many more. And lastly, visit an expanded Marvel's New York. Explore a larger Marvel's New York than ever before, featuring 2 new boroughs, Brooklyn and Queens, as well as locations like Coney Island and more. So not only is it utterly fantastic that Insomniac is going to give us an extremely personal narrative with both Peter and Miles both in and out of the Spider-Man suit while they're dealing with all this crazy stuff happening in New York, but that we now know that alongside of exploring Queens and Brooklyn, we will be able to see other amazing New York landmarks like Coney Island and lots more. And as a bit of a side note, knowing that this will be the very first time that we'll be able to explore Coney Island in a Spider-Man game while running in full next-gen glory with the PS5 is going to be an absolute treat for the senses. And with the mention of senses, we do have one last section on the PlayStation website to go over, which, as you might have expected, are all the highlights that come featured with Marvel Spider-Man 2 completely running on the PS5 as a next-gen exclusive. exclusive, which of course ranges from the visuals, the DualSense controller, the super fast SSD loading times, and the 3D audio. Explore beautiful and vibrant new environments like the boroughs of Queens and Brooklyn as Marvel's New York is brought to life in spectacular fashion. Feel the power of Spider-Man. The responsive vibrations of the DualSense wireless controller bring Peter Parker's symbiote abilities and Miles Morales' bioelectric skills to your fingertips. And as for the adaptive triggers, master acrobatic moves, execute thrilling combos, and experience the breathtaking excitement of web-swinging traversal through the DualSense wireless controller's adaptive triggers. Now, as for the SSD, experience the power of the PS5 console with lightning-fast load times for near-instant character switching across different parts of the city, fast travel, and new web-wing traversal for quicker exploration of Marvel's New York than ever before. And last but not least is the 3D audio, where you can become immersed in Marvel's New York as 3D spatial audio creates unique soundscapes all around you. Pinpoint the sounds of the webs, bioelectric powers, bustling traffic, responsive New Yorkers, and dangerous enemy attacks. Now, in my opinion, at least in regards to the Spider-Man games that Insomniac have made, Miles Morales, while running on the PS5, did an excellent job on showcasing all the attributes that the PS5 can equip for that game, especially considering it was a cross-gen title. And Insomniac's first ever PS5 exclusive of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart only solidified that even further. But now knowing that Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is the first ever truly next-gen exclusive Spider-Man game to ever be made, it's great to see that the PS5 will include all the bells and whistles that we've come to expect for truly next-gen exclusive experiences. And I just can't wait to dive into this spectacular world by the time October 20th rolls around. But if you thought that was all the info that we received today for Marvel's Spider-Man 2, then boy do I have a treat for you. Because alongside of the pre-orders going live and this brand new information that can be found on the PlayStation website, Marvel Games themselves went on to post an entire article going over the pre-order information for Marvel's Spider-Man 2, as well as a hands-on interview with the man himself of Bryan Intihar. Now, while this article does break down the pre-order bonuses that we do have for the game, as well as the digital deluxe edition and 2 pre-order bonus costumes, there's actually a whole lot more important information that Bryan discusses near the end of the interview, which luckily wasn't just written in article form, but was actually recorded as a full-on podcast. So I'm gonna let Bryan himself go over all these sensational details, which primarily involves their brand new interpretations of Venom and Kraven the Hunter, as well as how playing as Peter and Miles is going to work during story missions and even in the open world. And you'll definitely want to listen to everything Bryan has to say because it's flat out awesome. But with all that said, everybody, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Were you able to successfully pre-order the Marvel Spider-Man 2 Collector's Edition? And of course, what do you think about all these new details for the game? Let me know what you think. Be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Marvel Spider-Man 2 videos like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay spectacular, Spidey fans, and until next time, peace out.
Venom through the steelbook case and the statue for the collector's edition. We're getting our first looks at Venom. I love how he's classic, yet feels like he's a distinct version of Venom for the Marvel Spider-Man universe. I gotta ask, how many teeth does Venom have?
A lot. Like it's interesting. Someone asked me the other day, like, how many I actually don't know. But I think Venom is a really good example. Whether it's Venom, whether it's Kraven, whether it's Pete and Miles, like almost anybody we ever feature, our like North Star for this game, for this franchise, has always been like, we want to respect the DNA of the character of the franchise, what the creators have done such good a job of like making, but also what the fans love, right? Like we don't want to go so out of left field that, you know, they can't identify with anything related to the character. But at the same time, we do want to mix things up and, you know, put our kind of, you know, our unique take. Like back on Spider-Man 1, when I talk about the advanced suit, like that's a great example of right off the bat, you look at that suit, you're like, oh, the red, the blue, the eyes, that's Spider-Man. That is a Spider-Man suit. But then you have the big white spider, which was different for that color scheme. And you're like, oh, that's Insomniac Spider-Man. And we kind of took that philosophy from that moment all the way through, whether it's our character designs, whether it's story, whether it's our gameplay. And I think Venom's a great example. Like, I know there's Spider-Man fans and there's Marvel fans, but there are big Venom fans. And that is a character that you do not want to screw up.
Yeah. Exciting. We also have villains, so we know we'll see Lizard and Kraven in the game. Can you give us some info on our boy Sergei Kravenov, who he is, what he's doing in the game, his design, and particularly because we got new art, there's his crew that we see in the game, and like there's the one dude in the back, like I like him, the big weird dude.
Yeah, first of all, even picking Kraven he originally wasn't in the game. Like very early on, like you asked me like back when we were talking, he actually wasn't in the game. And then we were thinking about kind of the story we wanted to tell, how we wanted to push Peter and Miles in places they may not be as comfortable with. And not to mention, like, we knew we were going to do Lizard, we knew we were going to do Venom, and we're like, what's a character that kind of can push everybody and push the story into a different direction? And we were like, Kraven. I'm a big Kraven fan. I just think he's such an interesting, because he doesn't have like magical powers. He's not like magic based. He's not like full of tech. He's a hunter. Obviously he's powerful and strong, but he's smart. Also, I thought like his story could be probably like much more psychological than maybe some of our other characters we've done in the past. And that cinematic that we showed really kind of tells you what he's looking for. Kraven is looking for an equal. He's looking for somebody who's going to really challenge him, and you could tell he's frustrated with his crew, and his crew are basically hunters he's recruited from all over the world, the best of the best of the best. And he's asking for their help to find an equal.
One last thing, just the switching of characters, and that they have missions and different aspects that are specific to them, which I think is really cool and is gonna make it a lot of fun as folks find their way to play the game.
First off, there's a reason beyond it just being a sequel. It's called Marvel Spider-Man 2. It's a game featuring 2 Spider-Girls. It was really important that we have an experience in a way, at least on the game side, of you're playing as both Peter and Miles, like really embracing, like not only do they have a big story they're sharing within the world, but they have their own individual journeys, and we want people to experience them. Now, the way it's going to work is when you're playing like the main story, like that main story path, those missions, we are going to kind of determine based on where we want to go with the mission and the story, who you're playing as. So sometimes we'll have missions where you just play as Peter. Sometimes you'll just play as Miles. Sometimes they'll be together, and we'll, like in the gameplay reveal we showed, we'll determine when you switch between the 2 characters. So that's the main story. In the open world, when you're exploring a city, now you're going to be able to switch instantly, and a lot of that is because of the power of the PS5. You can really, just with kind of one button press, you playing as Peter in Queens, and all of a sudden you can say, I want to be Miles, and he'll just be right around the corner, and now you're swinging as Miles, so it's instant. And what's great is that we'll have content in the open world that's designed specifically around Peter, because we always want to make sure what we're doing is, whatever content we have a great story around it. So sometimes we want to craft that around a certain character. Same thing for Miles. We have content designed specifically for him. And then we have the shared content where you can play as either Peter or Miles.
It's going to be great. Marvel Spider-Man 2 releases October 20th, 2023, only on PlayStation 5. Pre-order the title now on PlayStation Store, PlayStation Direct, or wherever you get your PS5 games. Bryan Intihar, you're a delight. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.